STS-43 in 1991, and STS-58 in 1993. It was after this last flight that Shannon became interested in the cooperative effort between the United States and Russia to prepare for the new International Space Station by flying American astronauts as crew members on board Russia's space station Mir. She was selected to be the second American on board Mir, following Norm Thagard. In 1995, she moved to the Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City, Russia, to begin a lengthy training course.
There were a lot of reasons I wanted to do it, but one of the reasons was because I wanted to go to Russia and live and train, because I really enjoy living in different countries. I enjoy getting along in different cultures, and I also wanted to know what it would be like to be on a long space flight versus a short one. And so those were all the reasons why I volunteered for this flight and why I wanted to do it. We spent a year in Russia training for the flight, and the entire time that we were living there, we were speaking in Russian. As a matter of fact, there were a couple weeks that would go by where I did not speak English to anybody except the person I was training with, John Blaha. And this forced us to learn the Russian language, which we needed to know when we lived on Mir, because the cosmonauts only speak Russian. And Russian is a very difficult language. It's a lot harder than English. But we learned enough so that we were able to get by.
In March 1996, the crew of STS-76 launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Their mission? Rendezvous and dock with the Mir Space Station, deliver supplies, and drop off Shannon. There were a few days of joint activities and an emotional farewell. The shuttle crew undocked from the Mir and headed home, landing back in Florida to complete a successful 10-day mission. It would be a full 6 months before Shannon would see her colleagues back on Earth.
I guess one of the main reasons that I really enjoyed being up on Mir and working for a long period of time was because I've always enjoyed working in a laboratory, and there I was on Mir. I had a laboratory that was basically mine, Perota, and it had all, the United States experiments in there, and they were very interesting experiments, and there were a wide variety of experiments. So I could get up in the morning, I could sort of, plan what I wanted to do, go to work in my laboratory, and then interact with other scientists, and I just really enjoyed doing that. I was extremely fortunate because I had two absolutely wonderful people as crew people, as part of my crew, and that was Yuri Oniforenko and Yuri Usachev, two Russian cosmonauts. I don't think that it made any difference whether it was what the mix was, the male-female mix. I think the important thing was the compatibility of the crew. Yuri and myself were able to get along real well together, and the thing that we did most often was, we would work together and we would laugh a lot together, and it just worked out so that generally we were having a good time. I never got tired of looking out the window and looking at our Earth. It is just so beautiful. And the one thing that I really enjoyed on this long space flight was the fact that I was able to see the seasons change on the Earth. Now, I started off in March, so as we were flying over the northern hemisphere, I would look out and I could see the frozen lakes, and I could see snow on all the Central Asia as we flew over. And then in just a space of a few weeks, I saw the ice break up in all these lakes. And then I saw the snow melt, and then the green fields, come up. And it was just a remarkable experience to see the seasons change. One of the very beautiful things that I saw when I was up on Mir was we had a real good pair of binoculars, and so as we flew over Kennedy Space Center, and I looked down, I could see Atlantis on the pad ready to launch, and that was pretty neat. And then after Atlantis, STS-79 launched, we could see as it sort of climbed up in the sky. And so that was pretty neat, knowing that somebody was coming to rendezvous with us, and then I was going to get to come home.
On a rainy day in September of 1996, Shannon Lucid was welcomed home to Houston by a hearty group of well-wishers, including the President of the United States.
It's an amazing, amazing achievement. And I know I speak for all Americans when I say I think we all feel, at least, that